The first thing I remember after the accident was the sound. Not the crash itself. Just the steady rhythm of a monitor somewhere near my head, a quiet electronic beep that kept repeating at the same calm pace, like the room had decided everything was normal, even though nothing felt normal inside my body. My right shoulder hurt when I tried to move. My ribs felt tight, like they had been wrapped too firmly. A nurse noticed my eyes open. "Welcome back," she said gently. I blinked at the ceiling lights. "We're hospital," she said. "You were in a car accident. You're stable." Stable. That word seemed important to everyone except me. I looked toward the door without thinking. No one stood there. The nurse checked a monitor. "Your family was notified," she added after a moment. I nodded. That part didn't worry me yet. My parents lived about 40 minutes away. Hospitals take time. People need to drive, so I waited. The room smelled faintly like disinfectant and plastic. Nurses came in occasionally to check things, adjust tubes, ask about pain levels. Each time the door opened, I looked up. Each time it was someone else. After about an hour I asked the nurse if anyone had called again. She hesitated in a way medical professionals do when they're deciding how much to explain. "They said they might be delayed," she told me. "Delayed. Your sister had a situation earlier today." That made me laugh a little, though it hurt my ribs. My sister always had situations. "What kind of situation?" I asked. The nurse glanced at the chart in her hands. "A traffic ticket," she said. I stared at her. Apparently she's very upset about it. The nurse cleared her throat, uncomfortable. "Your father said she's having what he called a complete meltdown." For a moment I didn't say anything. Then I asked the question that suddenly felt necessary. "So they're with her?" The nurse nodded slightly. "They asked about your condition. When we told them you were stable, they said they would come later." I turned my head toward the window. Outside it was already getting dark. My sister had always been dramatic. Flat tires were disasters. Bad grades were crises. Minor inconveniences could stretch into full family emergencies. But hearing that a traffic ticket had taken priority over a hospital visit felt different. Not surprising. Just clearer than usual. I tried not to think about it too much. The doctor came in around 7 to explain the injuries. Nothing life-threatening, but enough damage to require monitoring overnight and possibly minor surgery on my shoulder. I nodded through the explanation. When he finished, he asked if someone would be arriving soon to help with decisions. "My parents are coming," I said automatically. He wrote something in the chart and left. The door closed again. The room felt larger than before. Around 8 o'clock my phone buzzed weakly on the bedside table. A message from my mother. "Your sister is really struggling today. We're trying to calm her down." No mention of the hospital. Another hour passed. The nurse brought me water and helped adjust the bed. "You should have someone here tonight," she said casually. "I will," I replied. Even as I said it, I wasn't sure I believed it anymore. Then, a little after 9, the door opened again. This time the person standing there wasn't a nurse. It was Mr. Alvarez. For a second I thought I was still half conscious. Mr. Alvarez had been my high school guidance counselor years ago. We'd stayed in occasional contact after graduation because he had helped me through some difficult college applications. He stepped inside carefully. "I heard about the accident," he said. "How?" "You listed me as an emergency contact once," he explained. "When you were filling out paperwork for a scholarship program years ago. The hospital called after they couldn't reach anyone else." I blinked. I had forgotten about that form. He pulled a chair closer to the bed and sat down. "How bad is it?" he asked. "Mostly shoulder and ribs." He nodded. Then he did something very simple. He stayed, not hovering, not asking dramatic questions, just sitting beside the bed and occasionally speaking with the nurses when they came in. When the doctor returned, Mr. Alvarez asked calm, practical questions about the procedure they might need to do. Insurance, recovery time, physical therapy, all the things parents usually handle in these situations. At one point he glanced at me. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. And strangely, I meant it. Around midnight the hallway outside became quieter. The door opened again. My father walked in. He looked tired and irritated, like someone who had spent hours dealing with an unnecessary problem. "She finally calmed down," he muttered before even looking at me. That ticket situation turned into a whole mess. Then he noticed the chair beside the bed. And the man sitting in it. His expression changed immediately. "What is he doing here?" Mr. Alvarez stood calmly. "I came because she needed someone present," he said. My father's voice rose. "Were her parents?" Mr. Alvarez didn't react to the tone. "Yes," he said evenly. "But you weren't here?" The room fell silent. My father looked at me. "You called him?" "No," I said quietly. "The hospital did?" He turned back to Mr. Alvarez. "This is family business." At that moment the nurse walked in carrying a clipboard. She paused, sensing the tension. "Everything okay here?" Mr. Alvarez nodded toward the chart. "I'm listed as an emergency contact," he explained calmly. "I've been assisting with medical questions while we waited for family to arrive." The nurse glanced at the paperwork. "That's correct," she confirmed. My father opened his mouth to argue, then stopped. The authority in the room had quietly shifted. Not dramatically. Just enough that the conversation no longer belonged entirely to him. Alvarez picked up his coat. "Now that you're here," he said politely, "I'll step out." He turned to me. "Call if you need anything." Then he left the room. The door closed behind him. My father stood there awkwardly for a moment. "You didn't have to involve other people," he said eventually. I looked at the ceiling again. "I didn't," I replied. He sat down in the chair Mr. Alvarez had been using. But the room felt different now. Not hostile. Just clarified. For years I had assumed that family meant automatic support. That when something serious happened, certain people would always show up first. Tonight something had quietly rearranged that assumption. The person who came wasn't the one I expected. But he came. And somehow that mattered more than everything else that didn't happen.